Hey guys, hopefully this is a good time for you. This is going to be a message that I feel like could really mean a lot to a lot of people right now, and I call it spinning plates. It's one I've given before. It's a metaphor I live by, and I feel like it could really help a lot of people. So before we get into that, I will say in true spirit of spinning plates, I'm managing many of them today. And so my kids are nearby. So if I have to take a break to let them know that they need to be a little quiet, just know that's what's going on, like this. Anthony and Julie. My mom face. Okay. So let me get into this. So the visual I need you guys to understand before we can get into the analogy is a plate juggler. I think that's what they're called. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what they are called. If you saw the graphic I did for this live, you know the visual. So it's one person, multiple sticks all around, and on each stick there's a plate. And somehow, if you've ever been to like the Ren Fest, they do this. At circuses, they do it. Cirque du Soleil, they do it. On that one stick, they get a plate starting to spin on it, right? And then they let that plate spin, and then they go to another stick, and they get that plate spinning. And then they come back over here, and they spin this one, and they come spin this one. And they repeat that process, just kind of going back and forth to one plate to the next, and to the new one, and to the next one, and to the next one, until some of the best plate jugglers out there can have over a dozen plates, and even sticks on top of plates with plates spinning on them. I mean, just plates everywhere spinning around them, all simultaneously. And it's like they know, like, attention to this one, attention to this one, attention to this one, attention to this one. And they know how to bounce around and keep all of those plates spinning. And if you've ever seen someone who's amazing at it, you know the awe factor that you have when they get all of those plates spinning at the same time. And you're just sitting back there and you're like, I don't even know how you do that. I could never. I don't even think I could start. Like, mind blown. Well, I have an analogy that I've always used, and a mentor of mine who really helped bring it to life a few years ago, that each one of us in our own right are plate spinning jugglers, right? We might not have literal plates on sticks, but we have so many different pieces of our lives. So let's talk before everything that's happened. You know, we had the work life, right? So we're spinning our full-time job. A lot of us have a side hustle or some extra income we're coming in. A lot of us have kids. Oh, maybe multiple kids. They don't each get their own plate. They don't each get one plate. They each get their own plate, right? And maybe on top of this kid's plate is this kid's sports activities and this kid's grades. And then you're married or you're in a relationship. So you've got your relationship with your spouse, and then you've got your friendships. And then maybe you have any extracurricular activities. Maybe you have your health and fitness. Maybe you have your spiritual goals that you're working on. Maybe you have your personal development. You have all these aspects of your life that are constantly spinning. And none of us can give all the plates the same attention at the same time. We just don't have that type of energy. So we know we've gotten ourselves into a habit of, okay, so in the morning, maybe I work out in the morning. That's how I spin my workout plate. The rest of these plates can spin on their own while I work out. Okay, that plate will spin now for the rest of the day. And now I got to get my kids out of bed and ready for school. So I'm going to spin that plate really quick, the mom plate really quick, you know? And then once that's done and they're after school, okay, now I can get to work. So I can go to my work plate and, you know, heaven forbid you manage people. So you've got like each one of your team members on there, right? And you're like managing those. Oh, and then your boss, he probably has a plate. And so you got those. And then when the clock is done, you get to go home, and maybe then you're spinning that mom plate again. Maybe you're taking some time with your spouse. You're spinning the spouse plate. Maybe you get a time to yourself and you get to watch a TV show and you're spinning the self-care plate. You're constantly spinning plates, and life goes so fast and life moves at such a speed. And for most of it, at the end of the day, we're really on autopilot. If you think about it, you don't really think through the next task to the next. You're just like those jugglers who make it seem magic by spinning all of those plates, right? You're spinning all of those plates. And then what happens when something like COVID happens? When, there's a national shutdown. So you're spinning your plates, and now all of a sudden your work plate, maybe you got to work from home. Well, that's new. I don't know how to spin that plate. Or maybe you lost your job. That's new. I don't know how to spin that plate. Or maybe you're self-employed and you're trying to keep your business afloat. I don't know how to spin that plate. And then your kids, you were getting them to school. Things were good, but now it's homeschool or it's e-learning. I don't know how to spin that plate. I've never had to spin that plate before. And now I'm trying to figure out how to get this plate to spin and this plate to spin. And someone thinks I can do it at the same time. And I've never spun any of them before. So I have no practice, right? So they're all getting wobbly. So what's happening over here with your health and wellness plate? Well, that one is just, has no chance in hell, right? And then you've got like your self-care and your personal development plate. Good luck. Your spouse, probably that plate's just stopped spinning a long time ago because you just don't know which direction to go. You don't know where to spin, and you weren't given any warning. You weren't allowed any practice time. You were just thrown curveballs in your plate spinning exercise. And now you're left managing it. And most people, and I would believe every single one of you that are in this group and listening, because you're here because you want the most out of life, you're not willing to settle for status quo. It is probably driving you batshit crazy because you've never seen so many plates drop in your entire life. And it's leading to anxiety. It's leading to depression. It's probably leading to terrible habits. It's probably leading to, either you're sleeping too much or you can't sleep enough because you are so depressed over watching these plates fall that you worked so hard to spin. What I'm here to tell you is that we're all in that same boat. Every single one of us was thrown curveballs. And everybody's boat is different, and everybody's situation is different, and everybody is navigating this completely differently. So do not think that I'm saying my situation is yours and we have it the same, because I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that none of us were expected to know how to spin all those fucking plates. It's a new game. The rules of the game, it's like they changed the size of the sticks or the weight of the plates and didn't tell us. They just did it and thought we wouldn't notice. And we noticed. It's hard to keep up. So this is what I want to share and where it all comes together for me. I don't just leave you with food for thought without a way to make it better, right? Or at least inspire you to take some kind of action in your life to get you to where you want to be. And I would imagine that none of us want to be anxious and depressed and freaked out about all of these plates. So I'm hoping that this is what it could be that could ease your mind. A mentor of mine, way before COVID, way before the world turned upside down, way before 2020, we used to talk about this analogy because this analogy's always been true. We've always had so many spinning plates, always. And he used to say to me, or he said to me one time when I was really stressed out about all of the things I was trying to manage, and he said, "Danny, the key about spinning the plates is you have to know which ones are plastic." And I kind of looked at him and I was like, which ones are plastic? And he goes, which ones are plastic? Because some of those plates on those sticks are plastic. And when they drop, it's okay. You can leave them on the ground and you can go spin your grandma's fine china. You can go spin that plate that belongs in the museum. You can go spin that one-of-a-kind plate that, Maynard from Tool ate on one time. You can go spin that plate that reminds you of like the moment your kids were born. Go spin the plates that can't be replaced and let the plastic ones fall. Because there's going to come a time in your life where you can get them all spinning again. Because you know what? The COVID plate, the crazy COVID plate, it's not going to spin forever. Someday, we're not going to go back to normal. No one wants to go back to anything. If you think about your life pre-COVID, there was parts of it you didn't like anyways. We are looking forward to a new normal. And in the new normal, this plate's not going to have to spin. So that health and wellness plate that I dropped, well, it was plastic. It was strong plastic. So it matters to me. It's important, but it's not breaking. It just fell off. It's just taking a rest. So I'm going to be able to take the COVID plate, kick that one back over to the CDC or WHO or whatever, and then I'm going to pick back up my health and wellness plate, and I'm going to get that sucker spinning again. And meanwhile, I'm going to spin my kids' plate, and I'm going to spin my spouse plate, and I'm going to spin my work plate. And you know what? The work plate might have fallen down, and maybe it was glass. Maybe your work plate is never going to get picked up the way that it was and put back on that stick. But you are going to be able to find a better plate. A plate that's a color that you like, a material that you like. Maybe it's going to have a design on it. What I'm here to tell you right now, if you haven't already thought about this, if you can't pick up your work plate because it broke, design yourself the work plate you actually want. Don't go back trying to replace the work plate that you hated anyways. This is your chance to design the plate you want to spin, because you know what? Every single one of these plates takes energy. Every single one of those plates takes energy. And energy is a finite resource, my friend. You only have so much of it. You only have so much of it. So you have to decide, is this plate worth spinning? Is this plate worth spinning? Is this plate worth spinning? And you might get to a plate that's fallen because you had to let it go. It was plastic. Maybe not. Maybe it was glass. Maybe it was paper. Maybe it's so worthless it's a paper plate, right? So you might be spinning these plates and looking down at that paper plate and being like, I was spinning garbage this whole time and I had no idea. I didn't know it was garbage until it stopped spinning long enough for me to look at it and realize that's just garbage. Don't pick up the garbage and start spinning it again, guys. If you acknowledge that plate's garbage, throw it away. Get rid of that stick. There's no medal at the end of this journey. There's no trophy for the person that got to spin the most plates in their life, okay? Select the ones that matter, figure out what they're made out of, and that will help you with this immense amount of overwhelm you're feeling to get some control out of your life. Because you may not always be able to control what's being thrown at you in your juggling journey, but you can absolutely control where you put your energy and what you're willing to let fall. I hope that helps bring peace to some of you. I know it brings some peace to me just to hear it being said. If you enjoyed that, make sure you put on some alerts so you can see me go live more often. This is why I built the lounge. I want to redefine the bar conversation, and I want to change the world one drink at a time. I'm inviting every single one of you to do that with me. If there is someone that you know that you think would love this message, I would love it if you would invite them to our group and tag them in the group in the post below. Let me know what plate that you realize you want to drop. Do you have garbage in your life? Do you have a china plate? Is there a thick plastic? Let me know what that looks like for you. I'm really curious to see how this helps. You can comment in the group. You can comment here. You can shoot me a message. But more than anything else, I want you to stay inspired, stay bold, and always just a little drunk. Okay? Cheers, guys. Talk to you soon.